Hi, welcome to Leap Taken. This is Mika, and here at Leap Taken, I talk about all things witchcraft, craft related in general, law of attraction, manifesting, esoteric, and everything else in between. So today, I wanted to talk about birth charts, my birth chart to be exact. So I pulled my birth chart at cafeastrology.com. It's free. I've used them in the past. I probably used another site a long time ago, but I like their format. I like the way it's presented, so I use this one. But without further ado, here we go. My birth chart. So the whole purpose of me wanting to even talk about this was to relate it to my spiritual path. Why I follow a certain type of witchcraft. It all makes sense. So let's start. I'm in Aries. My sun sign is Aries. And I'm just going to read little bits here from the chart to help out. And it's a lot. I highlighted some stuff. Double-sided, guys. This is like 33 pages. They give you a lot of information. But, Aries is the first sign of the zodiac. Well, let me start over. The sun. So when you say the sun, your sun sign. The sun represents vitality, a sense of individuality, and outward shining creative energy. So outward shining creative energy. For me, I'm an Aries. And I'm a true Aries. But just a couple things. You can look up what Aries is. I'm not going to read the whole thing of what it means to be an Aries, but I highlighted some things. Aries loves to start anything new and they have trouble sitting still. That's true. And as it relates to my witchcraft, that is so true. I love finding out new things. I'm always reading a new book that comes out. I don't care if it's a 101 book. I'm reading it. I want to know if there's something new there. That's exciting to me. I do have trouble sitting still or just staying in one principle, one ideology when it comes to witchcraft specifically. I constantly keep wanting to evolve a little bit more. It's not that I don't hold on to my principles and things that I want, that I'm sort of committed to, that I've dedicated myself to, but I always want a little bit more, even within that particular ideology or that principle. Possible issues: nervousness, impulsiveness, wastefulness, provoking nature, having a provoking nature, restlessness, and changeability. So let's talk about this in witchcraft terms. So for me, nervousness. I had a video out talking about fear. I struggle with that. Nervousness, yeah. I was always nervous about, certain spells and like anxiety level nervous about things. Impulsiveness. Well, even though I shared those feelings, I'm very impulsive. I'll go ahead and just off the cuff, I'll make up a spell responding to, a certain action, something happened, and I'll just quickly do a spell, or some sort of working or whatever in reaction to that. I'm not always that way, but I do have that impulsive streak, which is actually interesting enough. That's when I noticed, it always works. My magic always works when I do that. That's something to be said for that, but I think it works for me as an Aries. Provoking nature, I don't know if maybe I have that capability and I don't realize it. I don't try to have a provoking nature, but it's possible. It's possible. Changeability, yeah, I can change. I'm comfortable with adapting. I'm comfortable with adapting to my surroundings, especially as it relates to witchcraft. For instance, I live on the West Coast now. I live in an environment that is not as lush with the greenery and things that I'm used to, or the beach, which I use a lot in my workings before, what was in my environment. But I've also lived in other types of environments that wasn't like that before, and I could adapt very easily and just say, oh, okay, well, I'll just use this instead. It works for me. I don't get hung up on stuff like that. I never have, but as it relates to witchcraft, I don't. My ascendant is in Scorpio. And the thing I just, they say Scorpio people or Scorpio ascendant people have a lot of presence. Their manner commands respect and in some cases fear. I don't try to go for that. I feel I'm an approachable person, but we make our presence known. Scorpios value their privacy to the point of possible paranoia. especially when it comes to witchcraft. This is something that I've struggled with, wanting to be myself and be out, but at the same time, having this crazy urge to just hold it back just for me and not to share it. And just to be very guarded when it comes to people knowing if I practice witchcraft or not. So, how I practice witchcraft, choosing to be a solitary, I think it has a lot to do with my ascendant being Scorpio, because I think that, I don't know, I feel like working in a group, one, it constantly exposes you, because if you're doing certain workings and you want your coven's help or your group or whatever's help, you got to tell them what's going on. And maybe you don't want to. You just want to do the work. At least this is how I think. This is legit how I sort of operate. So, yeah, why I do the type of magic I do, it all makes sense. It all makes sense to me. Yeah, we'll just leave that there. So that makes a lot of sense to me. As far as, and again, I'm just giving an overview, like the highlights, because they give you a breakdown of like what your house is, the sign that your house is in, and all that sort of stuff. But like I said, that will be a long video, so get your own and you can read all about that about yourself. But my moon. So my moon is in Cancer, which explains a lot. The empath part of my witchcraft, for sure, why I feel the level of empathy that I do, why I'm able to, the emotions and all that, pick up all of that. I know that has to do with my moon in Cancer. It all makes sense. Now, another thing about my moon being in Cancer that really sums up my witchcraft is as being identifying more as a cottage witch at this point in my practice is, and here's the short description. She likes home, habits, and comfort of her little world. Very caring and protective of loved ones. Well, that sums up why I even do half the things I do. I like home. I like the habits of my home. I like the comfort. I like to create my own little world here, my own little witchy wonderland in my home. And I'm very protective of my loved ones to the point that I do magic spells for them, on them, for their protection. Never to interfere with their learning process or things that they need to, I guess, go through in life. Always with the intent to just keep them physically safe, mentally safe, as a mother, just like a mother who would pray, for the same thing. So that's what I do with witchcraft. But this pretty much sums up my whole deal as far as why I practice the way I do, why I was led more into cottage witchery. That's me. I know it's that Cancer in me. I know it is because it fits 100%. Mercury represents communication typically. So for me, my Mercury is in Pisces. Again, to the empathetic thing. She sponges up the feelings and moods of people and the environment around her. Moody communication, sometimes very talkative, other times withdrawn. This is true, especially as it relates to wanting to have conversations around witchcraft. I have found that people will engage me, and I think this, again, this is what annoys me. And this is why, probably the Pisces and Mercury. So if you've engaged me and you're communicative about it, and then you stop because I don't know why, and you're not open for the discussion to tell me if you decide to take a different path, which I would find interesting because I enjoy learning new things. I enjoy understanding people. I am empathetic, so I'm really going to listen to you. So it really messes me up when people just stop and they don't. And this has happened to me more often than I want to admit. And it's not a thing where I'm turning them off. Maybe I'm too excited. No, I tried holding back and say, hey, why don't you read this book first, or go watch this video, because some people don't want to read. Go watch this video, go read this book, and then get back to me and tell me how you feel about that. And there's never a thing. Or, if you don't like it, that's okay. I'm trying to be preemptive now. If you don't like it, that's okay. I can tell you about something else, or I could just explain it to you Or I'll try just explaining and then saying, if you want to hear more about it, go look at this or go read that. I tried it all different directions. So I don't know. That irritates me. But the Mercury in Pisces, I think has a lot to do with why I react the way I do on that subject. But outside of that, tactful, preferring not to offend anyone. So you see how I'm going through all these ways of trying not to offend someone, even though I'm coming up offended. But I want to, they ask and I want to communicate, how witchcraft has worked for me or how it might work for them if that's what they're asking. Yeah, I love sharing it, so I don't mind. Flexible mind, sometimes gullible, but usually simply open to new possibilities. And again, the gullibility to even bother to get into these conversations with people who I know probably don't really want to go into the nitty gritty, but here I am still running off at the mouth about it and get my feelings hurt later. So there you go. That explains that part. Now, just to take it, I printed. I tried to save some trees here. Yeah, we're still talking Mercury because I highlighted some things. Oh, yeah. Some of you, this is still talking about Mercury, Pisces, Mercury and Pisces. Some of you might enjoy working at home or keeping a lively intellectual atmosphere in your home. You are not quick to embrace a new idea or plan and can be quite traditional in your thinking, which is something I notice about myself in general. But from a witchcraft perspective, I do like to keep it traditional, although the Aries in me always wants to know something new and try something new and read this new thing, watch this new thing, try out this new way of doing a spell or approaching magic in this new way, new to me, So I struggle because I'm game for that, but there's a part of me that is very traditional when it comes to witchcraft. I crave, and I wonder why sometimes. I'm glad I went over this because I had been recently kind of grappling with this a little bit. I crave structure in my spirituality on some level. I like the free spirit of it all and switching it up and not being, I guess, accountable to anyone when I do that. But at the same time, there's another part of me that craves the predictability and the ritual side of, traditional side of organized, I don't want to say organized religion, but just, I guess, the aspects of that, which you can easily incorporate into your spirituality. So to make myself feel better, I try to keep a healthy balance. I'm always looking at something new. I don't mind reading something new, but I try to keep true traditional values that I find valuable of rituals and traditions and things like that in my spiritual path. So that's Mercury in Pisces. So the other thing was Venus. Yeah, Venus is in Aquarius. So this is the wild card. Now, heads up, I'm married to an Aquarius. So I think this is why we could even work because Aquarius people, I love them. They're weird. I've met a few. And they all fit the same MO. I mean, I know there's other parts of your signs as we're going over now that kind of make you up. You're not just one, zodiac sign. But boy, do they just, they're true. Most Aquarius you meet, male or female, are true to the sign. That's all I'm gonna say about that. Nice people though, nice people. Cray, but nice. But that keeps it fun and interesting. They're not boring. And even when they're boring, it's comical because it's like, this is you boring? Anyway. So my Venus is in Aquarius. So what I wanted to outline here, Aquarius people are attracted to unusual or unconventional relationships. They don't want to follow the rules, although they make quite a few of their own. That's true. That is true from a witchy perspective, witchcraft perspective, so true. My relationships with my ancestors, my relationships, with how I approach a goddess or a god or any relationship where I'm having with some sort of spiritual entity, right? It's not conventional. because I don't want to follow the ways that other people tell me I'm supposed to do it. I don't. I'm. It does. I don't do well with people, telling me these are the rules. Oddly enough, I'm willing to make my own rules. So this is 100% me. When it comes to relationships, I sort of have my rules, and I would like those to be followed. But I choose to pick and choose which rules I will follow that someone else has, created. I'm being honest. This is who I am. Pleasing Venus in Aquarius involves letting them know just how interesting they are. Put up with their occasional need to act superior on an intellectual level. They're very proud of their unique ideas and visions. True. True. I do like to know that who doesn't want to know how interesting they are? But pleasing me, yeah, that's part of me. Interesting, not just in a way. I guess I would approach this from a witchy perspective is it's not so much that I have all the tools, I'm rocking a witchy look, I got the witchy aesthetic going on. I would connect more with, oh, so kitchen witchery too? Oh, so you're into alchemy? I guess that also ties into me wanting to constantly keep learning more techniques and new things. I guess it builds interest, and I dig that. I like coming across more interesting, you know, having a little bit more than just, one trick up my sleeve. I don't know. That's how I interpreted that as far as from a witchy perspective. It kind of fits my personality. I mean, yeah, I do. I think maybe that might be a part of what's driving the need to kind of always want to switch up a little bit and find something different from a witchy perspective and to study a different path or something like that. So, but that other part of me keeps me more grounded in the craving between Cancer and Mercury, which keeps me still kind of grounded in my home and my original traditions and things like that. So that's not bad, right? So the rest goes into my Mars being in Gemini, and Jupiter in Pisces, Saturn in Gemini. I forgot that I had so much Gemini in my chart. Fun fact. First husband was a Gemini, and my current husband is an Aquarius. So, yeah. Uranus in Libra, and Pluto is also in Libra. I think that was it. And then it goes into like the North Node, South Node, my North Node in Sagittarius. Yeah, and I kind of broke down like all the different houses and stuff like that. That's deep in itself. I could do a whole separate video just talking about that part, because that part's interesting. The houses. I'll just give a brief overview. So it says the houses. Financial success may come through an import-export company dealing regularly with foreign countries. She may have a laissez-faire attitude toward money, may take risks financially, as making and spending money are seen as an adventure. The house and sign placement of Jupiter can show more clues to where and how money is made. From a witchy perspective, I don't know. When it comes to prosperity and abundance, magic, and any kind of working around that thing, I learned, because I had to struggle with fear early on, and seeping a little bit, it was coming into my halfway point into witchcraft every now and then, but I had to do a lot of shadow work to kind of work all that crap out. But yeah, when it comes to money spells and all that sort of stuff, my approach currently is more, I don't always feel the need to do a money spell. I think we all go through dry patches sometimes where it's not so much you don't have any money. If you have a steady job or something like that, you have money coming in. But, maybe your expenses are adding up more so than what your intake is, and that's the imbalance. So For me, that's about the time it's like, maybe I should do a money spell. But I don't have this desire kind of keep a prosperity candle going at all times and, constantly be working that type of magic. I see others who do that, and my question is, because they'll tell you it's working. Oh, I got a unexpected check for $50 in the mail. Oh, I got this thing. Somebody paid for all my groceries. Like, it's just little things like that, and that's great. Those are good things. That's nice because it's working. For me, if I'm doing it like that, my spell, which I've done, is going to be for something bigger, a bigger approach to my money, and keeping that flow. It's for me, and that's the kind of stuff I like to do, like at the top of the year, where it's like just a bigger type of spell where I'm asking more for overall constant flow of abundance, and like a multi-layer type of spell where, that, and then also, open for other income streams, and then, stability, but at the same time, calculated risk. Like, that's how I think. I want options. You don't want to just say, oh, I want to make sure I keep my job, and I keep, because then that keeps you kind of always needing to do some kind of quick money spell if you just want to keep everything kind of the same. So I think a little bit bigger than that, because I've lived a little bit on this earth, and raised children, and now they're adults, and we've had ups and downs from financial perspective. Sometimes it's really, really high, and then other times it's like, are we free falling? We don't realize it, and then you catch yourself in time a little bit. So yeah, I'm thinking overall stability. Now, because I practice cottage witchery, I'm always doing protection spells or reinforcing existing protection spells. So part of that for me is to protect what we already have and to welcome in, newer opportunities. So I do that, but that's still not a focus on just, prosperity magic or, money spells all the time. So I guess I do have a, laissez-faire attitude about it. So maybe that's right. So I was just a little bit talking about the houses. Overall, I think it's great to get your natal chart report. Again, I got mine at cafeastrology.com. I think it's a good thing to get it when you are talking about, or trying to understand, why you might have went through a certain path, or why you're drawn to certain things. Maybe they give you a little bit more insight. And maybe if you're on the fence about wanting to go into a specific path, or just kind of go all in, and you're have your doubts on if maybe that's the right path for you, maybe pull your natal chart, and it'll give you a little bit of idea. I kind of skipped over a lot of stuff here, but a lot of stuff talk about home. I'm basically a homebody, and I'm home, and I like being at home. I do. This is why I practice the type of magic that I practice. I dig being at home. I like working from home and solitary. At the same time, I like to stay interesting. So I learn all these different things and paths. But I guess my way of sharing that, and my way of coming across as interesting, might be to start a YouTube channel, so other people can recognize how interesting I am. Just being honest. What's wrong? There's nothing wrong with a little bit of vanity. If you don't boost yourself up, and if you're not honest with yourself, how can you even be really doing witchcraft? You got to know, the varying shades of you, and be willing to admit it publicly occasionally. I'm not going to give up all my stuff about myself, but you'll probably pick up on it the more I keep talking. Hey, listen, I'm at home. I got to boost myself up, right? Nobody else is here to do it right now. But yeah, this has been cool, and it's been great because I pulled one before, but I was like, let me go ahead and do it again, and print it out on double-sided paper. 33 pages came up. So I thought it would be a good idea to just do it. And like I said, I got stuff here highlighted. I'm going to journal about it, because it's always, life changes. It's always good to kind of get back in in tune with things like this. Especially, you know, it's witchcraft. It's fun. We like, this is what we do as witches, you know. We get all this information, we analyze, and we try to turn it into something else, alchemy, you know. So for me, I'll turn this into practicing even more successful witchcraft and being an even better witch, because I know a little bit more about myself. And I know sort of what makes me tick, and I know where there's room for growth, and maybe might not be the best avenue to go down, or if it is, it's going to be challenging, which still is room for growth, but maybe I can go a quicker way, a shortcut, which is typical Aries, because we like a shortcut. It actually said that. We're on the up and up, though. It said that too. Aries, sun sign, yeah, we typically like to do things quick, the patience thing, so, which also might be why I keep changing things every 5 minutes with as far as, you know, my interests. Again, I'm still learning a little bit more. I'm revisiting my natal chart. I haven't seen it in a while, so this might spark some whole new videos just on this alone. But thank you for watching and listening to me rattle on these last couple of minutes. Hopefully this was informative. If you liked the video, please like the video. And if you enjoyed all of this, there's more like this and then some, so please subscribe. And thanks again for watching.